Good morning. Stories are everywhere. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, and they are on LinkedIn. And if you're watching today, I am sure you're wondering how you can cultivate deeper relationships with your followers. That is what I'm here to talk about today. And this is super exciting. And normally a Coaches Go Social time that we talk about and have a guest on. Usually I have a guest right next to me. Today I don't, because today it's all about me teaching you how to create a deeper relationship with your followers through stories. So we know stories are on Facebook, we know stories are on Instagram, and I am live today on LinkedIn, and stories are a huge opportunity if you choose to utilize them. Thank you for joining me, Tim. So excited that you're here. My name is Amy Iram. I'm the founder of Capitalize Social Media. I help life and business coaches gain visibility and increase impact using Facebook Live video. And the reason I am so passionate about Facebook Live video, and I know that Tim is too, he definitely, he's a video strategist as well. He knows the power that having the connection through video can help you grow your business. And that is what we both do. So not only that, you can also use other techniques to further those relationships using stories. And that's what I'm going to share with you today is my super secret method. It's not going to be secret after this. The waves method that I use to decide and to decide what content and to create content that will allow you to connect with your audience on stories. So yes, video connection is definitely key now more than ever. And I'm really super excited. This is about the third episode that I've been on LinkedIn Live. So if you're here watching, please say hello. I would love to know that you're here and just welcome any questions that you have along the way. Today, I'm also giving away for any live viewer today. I'm going to add the comment here for the giveaway. I'm giving away today to a live viewer that enters the contest one of my super favorite productivity tools, one that maybe isn't super necessary at this time that we're all home and not necessarily on the go as much. However, it is still very, very useful because you can charge your device, specifically your phone, at any time, anywhere. And it is something that I use. I have multiple of these that I use throughout the day. So, hey, Catherine, thanks for joining me. I'm so excited that you're here. I see your posts on social media. You're super active, and I can't wait to give you some more tips to make it even more successful on social media, make you more successful. This is what I'm giving away today. This is a Mophie. Can you see it? Mophie Power Station. It is 3,000 milliamps of power, which will charge an iPhone about 1.5 times. And I'll tell you why I'm super, super passionate about these, especially the Mophie brand, because I don't know if you know this about me, but I worked at Verizon. Before I started my business, I worked in retail management for Verizon Wireless for 14 years. And over that time, I literally started there before you can text message both ways. I distinctly remember text messaging one way, and then you got charged for every single message, and then the person who received it would get charged too. Super, super crazy. That was the very beginning of time when Verizon first started. But we've come a long way, and now a lot of people have iPhones, and of course, you're going to use them a lot because you're on social media so much more probably. And after the show, you're going to learn how to do even more stories, which because you're using your phone more, you're going to need to charge it more. So enter to win the contest. The link is in the comments there. You can have until the end of the day today to enter. Only live viewers are going to be eligible. Super excited to give that away. So it'll definitely help you. So stories. Okay. So the reason why I want to educate you today on stories is because of the fact that there's so much opportunity. The number one thing that I hear business owners, specifically service-based entrepreneurs, life coaches, business coaches, they know they want to be on social media, and they know they need to create content. So they create tons of content. There's post after post. Videos are great. Videos are better. That's awesome that you're creating consistent content. But we can get caught up in the fact that we create so much content and then we're done. We're like, oh, okay, all my content's done. Now I can relax for a while, and then that's it. And the thing of it is, hey, Wendy, thank you so much for joining me on LinkedIn. So glad that you're here talking about stories. And what I unfortunately see so often is that people get caught up in creating content and doing posts and graphics and copy and writing and all this stuff. It's so important to stay consistent. But by the time they get all that content created, they're like, oh, okay, I'm done. I'm it. That's it. That's all I have to do now. And that is the biggest mistake that I see when you're talking about social media and what you can do to really make those connect deeper with those people that are following you, that are taking the time to engage, and really make the most of the time that you spend on social media. So my method and what I do to free up that time, free up that brain space, to get all that content scheduled out of your head, plan it out, schedule it in batches, which I mean like creating the content at one time and then scheduling it out for the course of the month or however far in advance you can do that. So it's done. And then you can spend the time, your free time, right? Now that all that content is done, to do the activities that really can move the needle forward and capitalize on that content, is the engagement and is the interactions that you have through stories, through the comments, and through the DMs and messages that you're sent. So at that point, that is why you create your content. So you have all the opportunity to then use that as a platform to further those relationships to those people that are watching you. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad that you're here, Tim and Wendy and Catherine. And if you're here, please let me know that you're here and let me know if you have any questions. Real quick before I get started, to tell you all about my waves method for creating deeper connections through stories. Make sure to enter the contest I have. I'm giving away this mobile power station. Love this thing. It's so helpful to make sure that your phone is charged all the time. And you can enter through the link in the comments there. You'll have till the end of the day. So thanks, Wendy. I love it. Yes, content is important, and we're all on social media right now trying to connect with people. That is what it's all about. So take that time to connect and really make those deeper relationships happen through social media. So my waves method I joke around that it's super secret. It's not really a super secret, but it's definitely something that I created based on the years of experience that I've had in creating content. And then now using stories, which you have the opportunity on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn now to create stories. What do you put on stories? What do you create? And what do you put on stories? You need to be there. You watch everyone else's fun content. And what do you put on stories? And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's my waves method. And if you know anything about me and my branding, I live in San Diego and I love the ocean. I worked so hard to move here. It's going to be 10 years next July, or this coming July, that I've lived in San Diego, and I love the beach. I live about 5 miles from the beach. And that's just something that's very, very, very special to me. And so my business and my branding is all about the ocean. I have an ocean method for content, and now I have the waves method for stories. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. I'm so excited that you're here. Stephanie's here. So glad you can join me. Yay. Mary's here. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you're getting more into stories, Mary. It's so awesome. And now they're on LinkedIn. That's like the perfect opportunity for you, really. So when it comes down to it, the stories method, creating content in stories, now we have the opportunity on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Although the content and the idea is similar, you can create this content that's going to potentially just go away in 24 hours. It does go away in 24 hours, although you can save it in Instagram, for example, in highlights. There's different strategies, right? Because if you're on LinkedIn, you might be talking to a different audience than you're going to be talking to on Facebook, than you're going to be talking about on Instagram. So there's definitely different strategies that you're going to use for these platforms depending on who you're trying to connect with. So I will just preface our conversation with that. And for stories, I know a lot of you do Instagram stories. You can have the option of sending that story from Instagram to Facebook, which is an awesome shortcut and an awesome tip. I usually don't recommend creating content and putting it all in the all the same content in different places. However, when you're talking about stories content, as long as it aligns with what you're talking about and the audience that you're reaching from Instagram to Facebook, it's an awesome way to really reach another audience with that content if it's relevant to them. So yay, thanks, Wendy. I'm so glad you guys are here. So if you have any questions when they come up, make sure just to ask them and I'll answer them along the way, and make sure to enter in the giveaway so you can possibly win a Mophie Power Station, which is super, super awesome and you'll love. So the first step in the WAVES method, of course, is an acronym. The W stands for what's going on behind the scenes. So I got to be a little creative with this one, but behind the scenes content is the best content that you can create, because people want to know what's going on when, you see these, beautiful photos. You try to create the best graphics and the best photos on your newsfeed, on your profiles, on your LinkedIn profile. And that is something that you can definitely leverage. And that's something that's your presence, right? But when you're talking about behind the scenes content and the opportunity you have to do that in stories, the photos, they can be of something that's a little more raw, a little more, something that you want to give people that opportunity of FOMO. I know, Mary, when I talk about this, the fear of missing out, when you're talking about the opportunity to be able to share something with your audience that's going to go in there and look for you and go, oh, I know they're going to be, for example, like use it like in an event. Like I know I'm going to be doing or Mary's going to be doing an event. And I wonder what she's doing to get prepared for that. I wonder what she is, what kind of technology she's using, or what's kind of going through her head before she gets on stage and goes to her event. My friend Stephanie Liu is really good at this. Whenever she does events and getting ready for a presentation, she does a little story behind the scenes. So people love that. And they will go to your stories just to see what's going on with you. So give them that opportunity to really check out and get to know you from a behind the scenes perspective. I know, like I personally, when I watch a show and they have like a behind the scenes kind of, think about those kind of scenarios and behind the scenes opportunity to see what the show is like with all the cameras and when the cameras are off and all that kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff that people want to see too. So think about behind the scenes content, things that you wouldn't share necessarily on your news feed. Use that to create content in your stories. The second letter in the WAVES method is A for authentic. Think about authentic ways that you can share photos, or authentic photos. I first thought about this acronym and I was like, awkward. That describes me. Awkward photos. I can put awkward photos all day. Not everyone's going to align with that. Authentic photos, because I'm just a goofball. But I put a photo in curlers in my stories a couple weeks ago before an event because that's what was going on. But it's just allowing them to get to know you and really allowing your followers to have a point of connection too. So yeah, thanks, Wendy, behind the scenes. So you can, be as goofy or as silly and authentic as you like, but authenticity is the key when it comes to stories, because it's like your permission. I'm giving you permission to take those photos, or even better, create videos. We'll talk about that in a second, to be able to share more about you and your personality. I work with a lot of life and business coaches, and there's a lot of them out there. And how do you differentiate yourself from all the other content that's out there is giving them a little inside look to who you really are. And that key for having that personal connection with a coach is by far going to set you apart from anybody else, because they're going to be able to get to know you as a person before you can even have a conversation with them. And that is a huge, huge advantage. So definitely authentic photos, awkward photos if you like, who cares? It goes away in 24 hours. You can save it if it's really fun and exciting and you want to save it to your highlights, great. But use that opportunity to just have fun. And that's what stories are all about, that FOMO, fear of missing out content that really has, can get your attention and really can have fun with it. So number 3 in the waves method is video. Video is key for any of your marketing. If you know me, we talked about this with Tim earlier, is we do live video strategies. So we help, I specifically help people create their own shows, put their own platform, get their own message out there, give them that platform to really set themselves apart and establish themselves as an expert in their field. And video is the best way to do that. But if you're nervous, like I wasn't always, no, I wasn't always comfortable on camera, I should say. And it's really until I started working on some of the strategies and techniques to be able to get more comfortable on camera that I started to be able to do my show. And starting in January, Coaches Go Social is every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. You'll see me here on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn, and it will definitely set you apart. So video is key. And what I suggest when you are getting used to video is use stories to get past, or get more comfortable, I should say, get more comfortable with video using stories, because the stories, of course, are behind the scenes. I say, this is of course a stat that I use frequently, but half of the engagement specifically on Instagram happens in the stories. So if you're, not getting the activity on your newsfeed that you like, go to stories, because that's where all the other magic is happening. And that's where you can connect and use video to get more comfortable with using video in a little bit of a more secretive place, because not everybody is there, but also gives you the opportunity to practice and really get comfortable seeing yourself on camera, hearing your voice. And then the bonus is that you're connecting with your audience and you're giving them valuable content, valuable feedback, and tips and things to share on video. So you can tell stories, personal stories. You can tell, share tips and tricks that you have of your expertise. There is a lot of different things you can share, but video is one of the best ways you can connect with your audience through stories and through any kind of content right now. If you don't have a video strategy, call me and let's chat, because there's definitely loads of opportunity there. And sometimes you just need a little bit of a kickstart to get going. So yes, Tim, now more than ever. So if you're watching here with me, thank you so much. Make sure to comment. Let me know that you're here. I'm so happy that you're here with me. So we got the waves method. What's happening behind the scenes? Authenticity, authentic photos, video, and engaging. I kind of touched on this at the beginning. The engagement. So you're creating all your content. Hopefully at the point that you're done with creating all your content, you're setting aside time for the engagement. So that is really what you want to be doing, is streamlining your content creation process to set aside the time for the engagement, because that's really where you take everything to the next level. So that engagement is what you want to set aside. And now for engagement, thinking of as a two-way road. Of course, every road pretty much is two ways for the most part, but the level of reciprocity that you'll receive by going to other people's stories and seeing their content, and then you're going to get to know them. You can ask them questions and engage with them. They're going to come back to you. And that's part of what the engagement is you're building a two-way relationship with your followers, with your audience here. And that engagement is so key to taking your content, taking your social media, all this time that you spend on social media, to the next level. You're responding to every single comment with a thoughtful, engaging response to have that conversation, and you're responding in the stories and asking questions and engaging with them in the stories too. So Stephanie asked a really good question. Do you film vertically or horizontally for video? And stories, you're going to be vertical. And newsfeed videos, you're going to be horizontal. And that is a really, really good question. Thanks for asking that tip. So definitely horizontal for stories, for video, and then, excuse me, I said it wrong. Vertical for stories, holding your phone up just like this, vertical for stories, and then horizontal for whenever you're creating regular content. and that's on your phone. So great question. Shout out to The Secrets, especially for stories. It's a two-way street. Absolutely. Make sure you set aside the time for engagement. Last but not least is the S in the waves method for shares. So this is one of my favorite super secret tricks that I use, but it's really beneficial for everybody, right? Because sharing content, you can share content from the newsfeed directly to stories, and you can share other people's content from their newsfeed to stories. And when you're trying, this is what I do. When I create stories quite a bit throughout the day, and throughout the week, I shouldn't say. I don't think I do it every single day. Really figure out a model that works for you, because you want to make sure they're consistent, but not doing it so much where that's all you're consumed with. But at the same time, you can use shares to fill in content, sharing other people's content to your stories, and then adding your little, comments and little gifts on top of that to then kind of further and capitalize on that content. So I like to follow really super inspirational accounts that have that publish graphics that I really align with, and then I will share that to my stories. So sharing it to the stories will give them, a little extra kudos for their content, but then it will also help you, because you've got content that you didn't have to create, but that's there that shows your followers, this is what I align with, and this is the content that, that I would have created if I would have done it myself, but of course, giving credit to the creator. And then using stickers, like you can use your engagement stickers, where you can use like the emoji slider, which is one of my favorites. You can use a poll to ask a question, kind of bouncing off the idea of that content. There's all sorts of different ways that you can do, but giving people the opportunity to click on your stories to engage with you, that tells Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, that tells them that, oh, I'm really interested in this content. I want you to show me more of it, so then you'll naturally see more of it. So as a creator, giving the opportunity for your audience to click and to engage with your story will then tell the algorithm, right? The elusive algorithm of the platforms that says, this person wants to see more of this other creator's content. So that can only help you. So Stephanie, if you don't have LinkedIn stories yet, it is vertical, yes. And if you don't have it, I do think that it's rolling out quite a bit. I'm not sure if it is 100% rolled out yet. Maybe double check your app to make sure that it's updated. And if not, then you might just have to wait a little bit, because it's rolling out to everybody very soon. So that's exciting. So yes, share the content, just follow those accounts that you align with their content, that share really good content, that you can kind of fill in yours as well. So you're not having to create content all the time. And then you're also giving kudos to those that are creating content too. Catherine, good question. Is creating stories in Instagram different than creating stories in Facebook? Yes. So I won't go over all the specifics. However, there are quite a bit more features in Instagram to add in, like engagement stickers and different things like that, than there is going to be in Facebook stories. That's why if you're using both platforms, I like to create the story in Instagram and send it to Facebook. Facebook's continuing to update their features and things in stories to make it more robust. But Instagram stories originated Instagram. So I'm imagining that's why all the features are there. Although we all know, Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company. So nonetheless, they are different. And if you're using both, I always suggest to create your story on Instagram, send it to Facebook, make sure your accounts are linked, and make sure your messages are aligned, of course, too, to give you a little bit of a shortcut. Wendy's asking a question from LinkedIn. Should photos be vertical as well, or will both horizontal and vertical photos work? Photos, yes. Photos for stories specifically, it doesn't matter which way that you take the photo necessarily, because you can actually adjust the photo size, and you can kind of like crop it and move it around in there. It will show, if you want to show a full view on stories, the photo taken in a full view of vertical, again, with your phone vertical, make sure I show this correctly, up and down like that. That's going to be where you can see the full photo. So yeah, definitely. If you have a photo that you want to show all around the edges and everything, great. If not, if you want it just to be, your face and you want to kind of crop it out, you can do that in a horizontal manner too. So there's so much to talk about. I know that I'm only doing this for 30 minutes and I usually try to keep it to that. But if you have more questions, let me know. Don't forget to enter into the contest to win a Mophie Power Station. Keep your phone charged all the time. Whoops. When you're, I dropped something. When you're creating all these awesome stories. Actually, and I don't know if I'm connected with every single, I think I'm connected with Stephanie. Put your Instagram or your Facebook or your LinkedIn, whichever you want to connect with, put your links, any of your links, all your links to connect with each other and connect with me, especially. I want to connect with you here in the comments. So add in your handles, and that way we can find each other and connect with each other in the future. So that would be awesome. And I'll wait for a second to see if you have any other questions at all. One thing I will add, and this is something that I probably need to create a whole entire training for. Stephanie's asking, do you recommend asking questions in your stories to create engagement? Yes, absolutely, Stephanie. I definitely recommend asking questions. In fact, this is what I wanted to kind of touch on. Going into your stories, you will see when you create a story, this little, I'm just going to have to see this really quick, but that little smiley face with the little edge kind of turned up, that is where all your engagement happens. That's where you can add questions, you can add a countdown, you can add a poll. That's one of my favorite. Your emoji slider, that's that little guy moving over there. Nope, this side right there. Emoji slider, anything that you can engage that will allow you to someone to click on your story is going to help the visibility of your content to the people that are watching. So ask questions. One of my favorite, and I'll tell you one of my favorite tools. Oh, great. Thank you for adding that on there. Can't wait to connect with you. So one of my favorite ways to connect on Instagram is polls. Well, in any of them, but polls allows you to ask two questions, or reply two responses. You can ask a question and then you can put two answers, and it defaults and says like yes or no. But really, when you get creative, you can ask any questions that you want. You can both have positive responses, depending on what you're trying to talk about or what you're trying to engage your audience for. So the poll, again, they're having to click an option, but it makes it super easy for them to click on an option to be able to engage with you. And then once they do click on it, you're going to see their response. And then you can continue that conversation in the DMs. So, oh, I saw you responded this way. Tell me more about how you came across this answer, expand on this. I should have had a better example to give you, but I I talk a lot about my stories about dinner and how I don't like to cook, but then I do have all these resources that I use of meal prep companies that I try. So a lot of times we'll ask questions, why, did you cook dinner tonight? Yes or no? Or did you cook or did you go out to eat? Those kind of things that you're just giving them options of something super easy that's super applicable to them. That's going to start a conversation. And then you have that window in to be able to say, oh, let's, talk further about it. What did you make for dinner tonight? How are you doing with cooking every single night? Or are you ordering out for dinner and all that kind of stuff? So just as an example, the opportunities are limitless when it comes to being able to engage through stories. Then the positive response is yes, exactly. So it's, when you see you add the poll and it has a blank space for the question, answer your question, and then it'll say yes or no. And it looks like that's just the only responses, but you can fill in, there's a character limit, but you can fill in your own responses. So I can't wait to see what you're going to do with that. I'm so excited, Stephanie. Yay. My favorite meal prep company. Ooh, good question. My favorite meal prep company, I have two. Of course, I use two. My husband says, you don't cook anymore. And I'm like, I sure do. Is there food on the table? Yes. Just because I didn't cook it from scratch with my own recipe, I don't think that matters. So I love Blue Apron. I've been using it on and off for like 3 or 4 years. It's, fresh. All the ingredients are fresh, and You get to chop it all up. And, sometimes the recipes seem like they're really super basic, but they're actually really, really tasty. And then I also use a local company, La Mesa Dream Dinners, where they pack up all the meals all up for you. So you just have to, and it's like a month's worth of meals that you can buy at one time. You put some in your freezer, you defrost some of them in your fridge, and literally it takes like 30 minutes to get dinner on the table. So I'm super, if you have any other recommendations of meal prep companies that you really enjoy, that you recommend, I would love to hear them, because I'm always looking for shortcuts for dinners for sure, because that is my jam, getting dinner on the table in the shortest amount of time, but also the healthiest as well too. That's definitely important to me. So wrapping up here, I'm so excited that you all joined me, and thank you for the great questions. Do make sure to enter into the giveaway. I'm going to again put that link in the comments here. And that way I will announce, you can enter it in, and then I will announce the winner by the end of the day today for all you live viewers. Thanks again for being here. I will mention that I am launching a new membership group. I have launched it. It is launched. It's called the Tide Pool. Again, to capitalize on my ocean theme, which I love so much. We love going to the tide pools. And I imagine the tide pool as being this safe little place that you can, get all of the things done that you need to for your social media, separate from the ocean. The ocean brings you in. You can get everything that you need to get done, create your content, create your strategy, get your content scheduled, get the ideas to brainstorm, get some new tips and trainings that you can to keep all your knowledge and expertise up to speed. And that is what happens in my membership group called the Tide Pool. So if you're interested in either doing some more live video where you need to get more consistent with the video strategy, or you just need to get consistent with the content that you create on social media, that's what I'm here for. That's what I help people with. And I'm really glad that you're joining me today here too. So look forward to connecting with you on all your platforms. And we'll be here. I'll be here back next week with two guests, actually, Courtney and Brian Kramer. They're the founders of the H2H method. And H2H, they founded it actually, which is human to human. And we're going to learn more tips and tricks and just methods to really understand how to connect with our audience in these online world opportunities that we have. So make sure that you mark your calendar every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. I'm right here chatting with you, giving all the best tips and tricks that I know to help you move your business forward and your personal life forward. Everything to do with personal and business growth. Thank you so much. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.